Hi, my name is Amy Tobin. Welcome to my hair lab. I'd like to talk about curling your hair from wet to dry and curling your hair dry. We're going to answer a couple of questions. Which method is longer lasting? Which method is best for chemically or mechanically compromised hair? And what tool can you use to achieve the bouncy, glamorous curls that you're looking for? Over the last 25 years of hairdressing, I've seen so many changes in hairstyling tools. I remember clients coming in with fried hair because they were laying their hair on the ironing board and using a clothes iron to get their hair straight. Those were the days. Flat irons came on the scene and changed the game. The problem was there was a big learning curve. And as tools continue to change and technologies improve, we're still trying to stay ahead of the curve. Dyson came out with the Air Wrap multi-styler, which in some cases has replaced a traditional curling iron or wand. However, it's important to understand that the results will not be the same. I'm not sponsored or affiliated with Dyson, but I've been using the Air Wrap for several months and just want to share how it may be beneficial for you. Let's look at what results you can achieve and why you may want to look into this tool for your own hairstyling routine. If we look at traditional curling irons, many of them reach very high temperatures, well over 350 degrees, which in my opinion, is just too hot. If I can cook a chicken at 350, then it's likely too hot for my hair. Just my thoughts. If you're using a traditional curling iron, make sure it does have a temperature gauge that allows you to control the temperature. This is very important. Some hair, such as blondes and finer hair textures, they just can't handle as much heat as others. Some irons have only one setting. I don't know what the setting is, but I do know it's very hot. Here's the problem that I'm seeing. We don't know how to use low settings. We just want it hot and quick, strong results. If you don't know how much heat you're putting on your hair, how can you really properly use the tool safely? Power without knowledge is just dangerous, so using a hot tool without proper education is dangerous. Dyson came out with the Air Wrap, which doesn't go above 302 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a great safety feature. Now, 302 degrees is still hot and can cause damage, but is more manageable than a traditional curling iron, which can reach temperatures of up to 450 degrees. I have to say that since using the Air Wrap, my hair feels bouncier and my arms don't hurt because it does all the work for me versus a regular curling iron where I'm in all sorts of positions to place the curl how I want it. The day I wash my hair, I begin styling with wet hair. The hydrogen bonds in the hair are broken when the hair is wet. This is when I apply all my product and use the blow dryer attachment to rough dry my hair. The attachments are super easy to put on. Just click it. What I want to do is get my hair about 80% dry and then focus on the roots to give the hair some lift. A little upside down action works great to get that volume at the root. And a hair flip is always fun. When I get to this point, I put the curling attachment on the Air Wrap. Just hit the button on the back and the dryer attachment pops off, and then just click the curling attachment on. Hydrogen bonds are going to set in whatever shape you create as it dries. This is why it's important not to get it too dry, and this is what gives you the longevity in your style. Think about when you braid your hair when it's wet and then you take the braids out when it's dry. You're going to get very strong waves. If you braid the hair dry, you'll still get waves, however, the results aren't going to be quite the same. I make sure to set the curling attachment in the direction that I want my hair to go, which I always curl away from my face. This means that I need to change the direction for the other side. I'm also able to keep my elbows down, which puts much less stress on my arms, wrists, and back. The Air Wrap literally wraps my hair around the barrel. Just hold out the piece of hair you want to curl and it takes care of the rest. As with regular curling irons, you don't want to put constant heat on the hair for too long. The 5-second rule is what we teach our students, and I would recommend the same with the Air Wrap. A few extra seconds is okay if the hair is coarser, but approximately 5 seconds or so. If there are spots that aren't dry enough, so if you don't get it to about that 80% dry, they're not going to wrap as well. So the 80% dry is key. This is another case where you may need another few seconds to ensure that the hair is dry. You can see that the curls are well formed and super bouncy. You can leave them like this if you want, but I'm going for a wavier look, so I spray with hairspray when I'm all finished. Let that dry for a few seconds before combing through. I like to use a pick comb as the teeth are wider and will leave my curls intact, but will loosen their formation. The curls are pretty strong and they're going to last all day. because the hydrogen bonds set from wet to dry. On day 2 and 3, I can just do touch-ups as the style is already set in there. On day 4, I start all over again. If you begin with dry, straight hair, your hair will curl. However, because those hydrogen bonds haven't really been broken down with water, the result is going to be a looser curl that isn't going to hold quite as well. As a hack, I sometimes spray some water on my hair to help loosen up those hydrogen bonds to give my curl more strength. If the hair is too wet though, it is going to make it difficult for the air wrap to actually wrap the hair. So a gentle mist is all you need. Now, because the heat isn't as high as a traditional curling iron and you don't have that same tension, the curls are going to be beautiful, but you will not get what you would normally get with a curling iron. If you're looking for a very tight curl, then a curling iron would be the tool you're going to want to pick up. This is because the curling iron offers more tension. If softer, bouncier waves is what you're going for, then the Air Wrap is a great choice. I would also recommend using an Air Wrap if your hair has been compromised with chemical or mechanical damage. So basically with bleach or with a hot tool damage. Now, you're still using heat, so damage can occur. So use at your own discretion. But in theory, less heat plus less tension should be easier on your hair. So wet to dry will give you the most longevity in your style. The Air Wrap has less tension and heat, so it can be a better option for compromised hair and if bouncy curls is what you're looking for. If you use an Air Wrap or a similar tool, how do you like it? Let me know if my wet to dry curl technique with the Air Wrap works for you and if you try the spray bottle hack. Thanks so much for being in the Hair Lab with me today. Until next time, have a great hair day.